Kia ora, Matt. Am I up? Kia ora, chat. Let us know if I'm here, guys. Perfect. You're good. You're good on my end. Oh God. Oh dear. Tommy Strawbridge can't hear anything. Can't wait for Morgan. What is this music?
I think if I do
It's never
this,
a problem on my end.
if I do this, I think we might have an echo, but otherwise maybe not. Audio's good now. Can't hear Matt. Can't hear Morgan. Okay, well then, yeah. I mean,
Well, guys, welcome to Sweet Chain Live. Don't worry about Matt. I've got you covered for the next 5 weeks here on Sweet Chain Live. Looking forward to hosting the show.
Well, I mean, people are here to hear you anyway, so that's it. Okay, right. I think we're all good now. So welcome everybody. It's episode 120. We've got an absolute crackerjack episode for you today. We've got a few things to go through. We've got hot scores to go through, and we've also got our guest tonight, which is Mr. Leon Botha, and he's going to be joining us with some news about the Elite Series. I think Morgan and Leon are going to double up here, and
pretty excited to speak to Leon today. It's we've got a bit of news to drop, so yeah, bring it on.
Fantastic. We've also got a couple of tournaments to have a look back on. We had Nottingley Giants and the Waitoa Coastal Cup both on last weekend with some pretty surprise results. Probably across both tournaments, so you might say. We'll be breaking down the results of those and also updating the power rankings. And there's been some movement in the power rankings as well. Okay, let's kick off with hot scores from around the country. Morgan, do you want to kick us off first?
Absolutely, Matt. Guys, it's my pleasure to bring this to you. We are going to go straight down to the Deep South, as always, down to Queen's Park, and Smokey, Pete Mackay, shooting a hot -14. Coming from Queenstown and just slaying the course. Awesome job there, brother. Moving over to Chingford, we've got Oscar, no last name. He shot even. Moving over to Brockville, Mr. Sergey Sanin. I really like this guy. I've played with him for a few tournaments now and seeing him on the up and up. So shot a neg 6 at Brockville. Up into Queenstown Gardens, we've got Logan Gemmell. Might bring my camera over here so I'm not looking away. We've got Logan Gemmell shot a neg 2. It was the Queenstown Gardens has been closed this week due to the Luma Festival. So a neg 2, no idea how many holes that's on. But then moving out to Tucker Beach, and we've got Jack Halliday with a neg 1. Awesome job there, Jackie boy. Ely Point, we've got Matt Pritchard on a neg 2. And also over in Wanaka, we have at Lismore, Mundo McDisk with a neg 11. Shot Mundo. All right, and shooting on up to Jelly Park, we've got Eilish shooting a neg 9. Let's go, Eilish. Hell yeah. Ascot Park, we've got Andrew Popham shooting a neg 4. He also, breaking news, he also won the crowning of the Royals. Ascot, we've got Queen's Park, another one, Eilish with a neg 4. And then also over to Brookerab, we've got Eilish again at Neg 2, just taking down Christchurch this week.
Christchurch.
And to finish us off up at Taylor River, we've got Mitch with a Neg 3. Well done, everyone.
Fantastic, fantastic. Right, heading up to the North Island then. So starting off at Berhampore, and it's Keith Furlow who hits a 7 under par in the hills, and across the water at Hikoikoi, it's Ben Morrison who hits 6 under par. Ben Morrison was also out and about in Hardcore Park, hitting -1. Johnny Wake becoming quite a regular on the show with a 9 under par at Linklater. Up to Maryland's, and it's Jason Gray who hits 2 under par, and at Spa Park Red, Callum Petman takes home the honours with a 1 under par. Finally, up at Henderson, Richard Waterson takes out the title, as he often does, with a 6 under par. So there we go. Did you get out yourself, Morgans, last week or so? You been out yourself?
I haven't, man. I've been trying. I've kept my bag of discs in my car all week, but unfortunately sort of coming back from overseas and doing one straight week of work, and then I got sick at the weekend, and I've just been trying to shake it for the last few days now. So just kind of keeping indoors, keeping warm where I can. It's been crazy cold down here. I went to work a couple of days ago. It was -8.
Oy.
So it's tough. And yeah, as I mentioned during the hot scores there, the Queenstown Gardens has been closed for Luma for the past week. Obviously, they take over about 2/3 of the whole course, so it's a bit tough out there.
Yeah.
To get out there, rather.
Yeah. Up in Wellington, it's been cold, but we've had a couple of sunny days, really nice days actually. If you disregard the temperature, got out on Friday, played. What did I play on Friday? Played Hikoikoi and played Harteveld Park. Actually, took the Friday off work because of the old double weekender. You know, the long weekend of the King's birthday. Took the Friday off, so had a chance. Went and played Hikoikoi and Harteveld Park with my wife.
How did you go?
So
did the wife beat you?
She didn't. Very close. The Hikoikoi was awful from memory. Played terrible. Harteveld Park wasn't much better. My putting was all over the place. And then of course we had Hosker on Saturday morning, which was 2 championship rounds for the Greater Wellington series, which goes on. So for anyone who's not aware, in Wellington we've got an event series, which so there's an event every month, and we normally piggyback the series onto an already running event like Hosker or Heiser or whatever. In some cases we don't. It's a new event. So the one in July is going to be the Captain Knees up in El Rancho. That's going to double up as a series event.
Love the name.
Yeah,
the Knees Up.
And it's a very rugged course as well. Good fun, but yeah, you want to make sure you got backups at that disc that course. Sorry, because discs go missing easy. And so there's 11 events, and then they take the top 6 scores from the 11 events, and then that's your total score. It's all on Disc Golf Scene if you want to check out the latest scores and stuff. I think on Saturday I played much better, although I lost my tag. But yeah, otherwise played much better than.
And just tell us what tag you're sitting with now.
I went into the weekend on tag 4, and I successfully defended that in the first round, and then lost to tag 8 in the second round. So
okay. I have a question on that. Do you guys are all your tags going into the middle at the start of the round with the whole, like whoever's there, or is it just your card?
So it really depends, right? If we call a scramble at the beginning of the event, then everybody's cards go in, and then that's between everybody's cards. Ordinarily, for the series events and for Hosker, tags, it's mandatory tags up. So if you have a tag, it is always up. You don't have a choice in it, even if you kind of would otherwise have declined the challenge.
Sure.
But unless it's called as a scramble, it's just your card.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'd love to see tags make a bit more of make their way back sort of into the NZ disc golf community. I mean, I know you guys have got them up there, and there's a couple other places around the country, but I feel like they were out there for a long time, maybe about 5-6 years ago, and then they really just sort of went off into the ether. I would love to see that coming back up for, well, we could even say the Elite Series, something like that, but even just local clubs. I'd love to see them here in Queenstown. It would probably entice me to get out there a bit more, if I'm honest.
Well, within the Wellington group, it's pretty sought after. I mean, the number one, I think Brady's got the number 1 tag, and then Jung has the number 2, I believe, and Andy has the number 3, and then I lost the number 4 to Ben Morrison. So,
Okay.
and it really is really it's really quite competitive when people get going and realize that tags are up. I mean,
Yep.
you want to be that guy who turns up with tag 40 something, right? And everyone else is battling in the teens or whatever, or even higher.
Take down that tag 36.
and then everyone's like, oh, well, no, here we go. I just can't finish last.
Yeah.
So it is a good bit of fun, actually. It is a good bit of fun.
Yeah, cool. If anyone from Queenstown's here and you want to get into tags, let me know, and I'll sort it out, because I'm keen to get that going down here. I love hearing about tag battles all over the country and all over the world, and love to see it back down here.
Yeah, I mean, little story on this, and I hope people don't mind me bragging. I don't often do this, but they sorry, my apologies. Brett's got number 2. He's just popped up in the chat and said that he wants his moment. He's got number 2, so yeah, we'll be making a challenge on Brett to try and take number 2 off him in the near future. Anyway, a couple of years ago, so in Wellington the tags run every year. So on the 1st of January or the 31st of December, whatever tag you've got, you keep it, right? And that's the tag you've got for that year, and the tag's got the year on it. And I managed to snag the number 1 tag on Boxing Day. In 2021, and then successfully defended it before the new year, before I was able to.
I think that's the notch in the belt right there, is defending it rather than getting it. Totally. You could get it off of luck, someone having a terrible day, but if you go and defend it, that's yours, bro.
And I defended it against people at Harteveld Park, against fellow Upper Hussians, so or upper Hussites, I don't know. Anyway, the people who live in Upper Hutt, and so I don't feel like I cheated the system or anything. It was yeah.
There you go.
So
nice
anyway,
one.
Let's move on. Right, we've got a few things that we want to get to today, but I think we'll come to the tournaments that were played last week coming up soon. But now I want to bring in our guest for this evening. Which is Leon Botha. Good evening, Leon.
Hey, Matt. Good evening.
Hang on.
Yep. Kia ora, Leon.
Wait, one moment. We don't have your camera. And this is, I know why this is.
Yeah, because I'm ugly.
Let's try this. There we are. You're on screen.
There we go. Nothing left there.
Yep, there he is. Beauty.
And actually,
how you doing tonight, Leon?
Yeah, man. Just everything crazy. So much going on. And just trying
to
stay.
There is so much going on, man. Like you and I and a few of the others have been in some. We've been in deep. We've been in deep with the Elite Series, and then there's also, obviously, you've got your business and all sorts of other things, especially in the disc golf world, going on and outside. So yeah, I can't imagine, to be fair, how busy you actually are.
It's disc golf seems to be dominating things at the moment. Obviously not ideal for my other companies, but it is what it is. We all got into this for the same reasons. But yeah, it's been busy.
But here we are. We've made it to Sweet Shane. We've made it. Cheers to that.
So look, we Leon, you're on the show tonight because you wanted to talk to us about, well, you and Morgan wanted to give us a bit of an update on the Elite Series, right? So the last time that we spoke about the Elite Series on the show, and viewers might have seen, was when it kind of first launched, and we were kind of asking a few questions. We actually had you on the show live from Japan, Morgan.
Yep.
Where we...
Have we just lost Leon? Oh no, there he is.
I'm here.
We have, but hang on a minute. Just getting back on screen.
Yep.
There we are. Right. Last time we were talking, the Elite Series was still kind of in its infancy, even in its kind of ideation stage, right?
Yeah.
There was very little kind of on paper, if you like. Perhaps the governance was still being worked through. A lot of the ideas were still being developed. So what have you got for us tonight? What's the what do you want to update everyone with?
Well, the group obviously wants to keep moving forward, and we need to get our to the players what we're actually doing. There's a crazy echo there, Matt.
Yeah, you're chopping in and out a wee bit there, unfortunately, Leon.
Yeah. How's it now?
It's better for me.
Yep. Is that good?
Yep.
All right, man. So basically, we needed to get ahead of things and get this off the ground. We've got Whitehead coming up at the end of the year, and we want to have all our ducks in a row by then. So all the legalities and the likes need to be sorted. So we ultimately decided that we needed a management board, and we voted on that. So just while I'm talking about the board,
just while you're bringing it up, sorry to interrupt, Leon. Just while you're bringing it up, when you say vote, we've got our collective, our base, our core group of people that are involved in this. Well, it's the collective involved in the Elite Series here, and there's about 7. I think there's 7 of us, and we are the ones that are voting here. Just so everyone understands what's happening, there's 7 of us in the background here that all have an equal vote. And when Leon brings up voting, that's us voting each other essentially into these roles, which he's about to speak about right now.
Yeah, I'll get into that. So basically, just to get through this quick, we've got Bray that's been voting as secretary, got Morgan who's our tour director, Adam Rhymes will be our treasurer as well as our points director, and then I've been voted in as chairman. So the thing to understand is that at the moment, although it's only the 7 of us, and a massive shout out needs to go to Conor McKinstry, Hayden Shaw, Andrew Faulkner. These guys have been instrumental in the formation of the Elite Series, and we've relied heavily on their experience and their advice. And hence we have the board that we have. Now, unlike other organizations, our membership will comprise of tournament directors, so not players. So tournament directors will have a say as to who gets voted into the next board, and we will take governance to that level. Just so you have an idea of a little bit of how the in-house management is working on that.
Excellent. So that's a bit different to a number of other organisations that we're more familiar with, NZDG and the PDGA, which are voted, which are kind of member based. Although the tournament directors have a say, they have as much say as any other member, right? This is a slightly different kind of structure.
A little bit different. So just to give the background for it, if you look at the involvement of each of the individuals that have formed the initial part of the collective, you'll notice that everyone has kind of been doing work in their own areas by themselves. So Hayden's been doing amazing stuff up in the North Island, Connor up in the Naki. You've got Bray and Johnny. Johnny, by the way, is also part of these discussions and also been very useful. Sorry, Johnny, forgot about you there, bro. But those guys have been down in Chicago, more Queenstown, sort of everywhere else, and then Andrew and myself in the Christchurch area. And so kind of what we decided, and it was actually just, I don't know, an alignment of the planet, call it what you like. But we decided that instead of working individually, we would actually just team up. So it would be that's where the name collective came from. It was a genuine collective effort to simply take what's available in New Zealand at the moment for disc golf and make it better. We after all have together in our various competitions kind of set the standards of what tournaments should be. And so it just made sense that we continue to do that, but with tournament directors not having to fight those battles themselves. So we do that together as a group. Okay. How's that sound, Matt?
Yeah, so well, in terms of the sound, I think there was a bits and bobs of an echo in there, but I think we caught most of what.
Yeah, I think most of that came through. There was just right at the end there a little bobble, as Matt said, but I think 95 to 98% of that got through, Leon.
Well, I hope so.
Repeat.
But yeah,
Please
so,
repeat.
so this is the thing. I mean, tournament directors normally stick their hand up. I want to run a competition. They get sanctioning, blah, blah, fish base. And then it's that poor director with whoever he can muscle in around him that goes ahead and puts forward this tournament. And that's incredibly difficult, especially when you're trying to set a standard that's going to go nationwide. And so with us down here in the south, Hayden and Connor up in the north, you know, we can sort of say, hey, these are minimum requirements for a tournament. You need to have these facilities available. You need to offer this kind of marking of OBs, the standard. So if you think more along the lines of the DGPT, that's kind of where we are aiming. And then, of course, that's as far as tournament directors are concerned and the tour itself. With regards to players, obviously the big question is, why would they want to come and play on the Elite Series Tour? I mean, if you've got to choose between two tournaments, why come to one of us? So what I can say is that when you decide between the two, the Elite Series will be able to offer you a consistently high standard of tournament. So it might be run, for example, as a C-tier event, but the tournament itself will be adhering to B and A tier standards. That's kind of where we're going. So we're managing the expectation of the player. So if you think about, for those who are lucky enough to get down to the GCO or to get to the SMAC, and you will see it at YTAP this year as well, you're going to arrive to what is, in every sense of the word, a professional tournament. You will be on a tour which is not going to force you to play a competition every second weekend. You are looking at, right now, we're looking at 5 tournaments in the South Island, 5 tournaments in the North Island, and then we will hold a tour championships at the end of that. Now, because of the prize money being thrown around for that championship, this is something you are going to have to qualify for. So just because you've been on the tour doesn't mean you can play the championships. And when I say that, what we're talking about is for a first place MPO and FPO, you would be looking at them sharing equally. Right now, it's sitting between $5,000 and $10,000. So you are actually playing for something of note, and you get a big kick-ass trophy to go along with that. So you've got a points throughout the year, they're PDGA sanctioned, and you are working towards the culmination of a championship. And because you place high on that, on the Elite Series tournaments, international invites will then also be made. So if you need to qualify for, like, Connor and Sebastian, they need to qualify for the European Open, they'll be able to use the Elite Series to do that.
Okay. So what's the in terms of the kind of how does this get financed then, in terms of the generating that kind of prize money? Where does this come from? Does this get kind of put down to player entry fees, or are you looking for the tournament directors to lean on outside sponsors?
So we obviously have our own contacts within the disc golf industry, both local and internationally. And so as the board, we will offer as much support to each and every individual event as possible. We are currently in talks with a sponsor to actually sponsor the entire tour. We are in early days, and that's why we're doing this now, because YTAP is only November, so we're hoping to have that wrapped up. Tournament directors themselves, look, they're going to be vying for a tournament director of the year. So whoever hosts the best tournament, they are looking at about a 50% of the MPO FPO prize money. That's what they'll be playing for. So if you win MPO and you get $5,000, then the tournament director of the year will get an additional 2.5, maybe even $3,000, just for running the best tournament of the year. So even TDs have got something to work towards. Obviously, depending on what we can secure in sponsorship for the tour, that money can go up, which is kind of where we're aiming. And we're trying to be as conservative as we can with our numbers. So it's in the tournament director's best interests that they actually start now and build up the relationships with potential sponsors, and then we will help them deliver on the marketing promises for those sponsors, because that's been one of the big issues with sponsors, is what do they get out of it. Mm-hmm. So we have a strong marketing background, and we can use that to help them leverage that to secure sponsors for their specific event. But as the board, we are also working independently of all the tournament directors to secure even more finance, that we can make it easier for the tournament director to put on his competition. And what we can do for them immediately is, obviously, we already have all the gear. So we stipulate that you need to have, if it's going to be raining weather, you've got to have rain cover for every hole. You've got to have clearly demarcated OB lines. You've got to have a TD's tent. You've got to have a registration tent. You've got to have facilities for rest. Well, we already have all of that. So if you need 18 gazebos, we can help you. You need 18 T-pads, we got that for you as well. And in fact, I think we might even have 18 baskets in the very, very, very near future. So that is often where TDs are spending their money, is having to hire these things. And we can already go, we've got you covered. So we load it up and we will literally drive down to that tournament and help them get set up. So
basically it's a full-on support network.
Oh, full-on.
To put it simply. Yeah. Okay. It's a full support network for anyone that's running an event on this series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Tom asked the question about, but I'm going to broaden it. He asked a question in the chat, and he talked to Chris and Gwen about getting Flexline involved in the Elite Series events. So I'm going to open that and say, what thought has occurred so far in respect of getting eyes on this, either from a post-production or a live coverage?
Yep. Oh, let me take that one, Leon. I've got to be honest, man. I feel like I'm sitting here quiet and it's awkward. So we've been in discussions about that, and we've floated a few different ideas. Chris and we haven't reached out to anyone yet, because this is, to be fair, since me and the boys got back from Japan, this is when we've really hit the ground running and started getting these conversations really fired up and getting things underway. So obviously there's a lot of boxes we're trying to check off right now. So Chris and Gwen, you will be getting a call from us. But yeah, we are open to using other media outlets. Obviously Flexline is #1 in New Zealand, has been for a long time, put out such good production and post-production. So we would love to use them, but also they're busy people. And, you know, I reached out to them a while ago about an event, and they just couldn't do it just because of their schedule, which is fair enough. But we're not just looking into it, we're pushing for that. We really want to get the eyes on the sport again in New Zealand. Not that eyes aren't on the sport in New Zealand, but we really want to start pushing it and showcasing what we really can do here in the country.
Yeah, if I can just elaborate on that, Matt, one of the things that I think players who are on the fence as to whether to play in the Elite Series or not, Morgan touched on it briefly there, the eyes that are on New Zealand disc golf. I think my history alone in promoting individual players into the international scene should give people pause for thought. We do have international interest, especially with, sort of, this is going to sound so bad, with my involvement in this, because I do know these guys and have been able to hook up sponsorship for some of our players. But also what I've put forward to them is that if you're looking for new talent, come and look over here. And there's genuine interest. So I'm not just saying that they are growing their players, especially amongst juniors. So if you want to get noticed as a player, if you want to make an impression, the Elite Series would definitely be the place to come and do that.
I think it's so important. Just not just for because we all enjoy watching disc golf, and it's better when you can watch people who you know. But yeah, I think it's so important for legitimizing the series abroad. I think it's really key. Brett asks, is it just MPO and FPO?
No. Yeah, no, Brett. Hey, man. Welcome to the chat. I think you've just shown up here. No, man, not MPO and FPO. We've sort of touched on this a few times since we brought up the Elite Series, and just the name Elite makes it sound like it's MPO and FPO. The name Elite is aimed towards the event itself, which you would have just missed in the chat as well, and just the absolute scale of what we're providing in all of our events. All of these events will be minimum MPO, FPO, MP40, MA1, FA1, FA40, and a couple of junior divisions at very minimum. Yeah, MA40, sorry. Yeah, 100% MA40.
I haven't forgotten about you.
And so, And so what do you, in terms of the qualification then, I can understand for a pro division how you might run a qualification tournament. You know, you might say placings at previous events, or you might say a rating or whatever.
So you're talking about qualification for the final?
Well, how do you, sorry, it's just the series, the tour event.
Just the series championship at the end of the season.
Okay.
That's where you need to qualify for. I'm looking at some figures in front of me, and don't quote me specifically because we've only been running through this today. Statman Adam's been putting out these numbers, but MPO's looking at 20% of the MPO field, 10% of MP40, 25% of MA40, 30% MA1, 6% junior, and so on and so on.
You need to score points.
You score points, and then you get invites that go on a first refusal basis down the rankings. Okay.
Correct. So that gives you a nice way to go. And also, when it comes to the championships, you have a fixed number. So we can plan for the championships 6 months in advance. Yeah. We know exactly how many people are going to be there. So we're not relying on registrations. Mm-hmm. And we can start to cater for that. So it's not an unknown. I mean, I remember with Andrew, that man, I don't know how he did the GCO, the amount of work he put in, but it was, in the beginning, we had no idea how many people we were catering for. Yes, 250, but is everybody going to pitch? What's the story? What's the spread going to be between the various divisions? This way, we already know. And so it will definitely lend itself to a more professionally run tournament, which will definitely get interest from the media.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So we got a question. Tom. So Tom asks, will the winner overall be eligible for invitation to the Champions Cup? I don't suspect that will be the case, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I haven't negotiated anything with them yet.
Yeah.
Tommy, are you talking about Champions Cup as in the Champions Cup, or are you talking about the championship for the Elite Series? Sorry, just so we're sure on that.
No, I think you're talking about the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, and another person in the chat saying minimum should be 2 times FA and 2 times MA. Well, there's FA1, FA40, MA1, MA40. So they're just the bare minimums. So, some events that we have, like, and I'll just use Waihi Tapu for an example, is borderline adding to an MA2 division now with the amount of MA1, but for previous years it hasn't ever been in that position. Whereas events like GCO and the Southern Smash I'm hoping I'm right here, but we'll 100% have those. So those are just bare minimum divisions. But it's a fair point. But yeah, everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah, look, there's a lot that we're working on. There's a lot of people we're talking to, which right now would be too premature to say anything. But our aim is to make this something never experienced before in New Zealand. So the team is pretty dedicated. I mean, when I said to you, we've got seasoned tournament directors advising the board. Johnny is, with the smack, he's had a lot down there. Hayden will help us, obviously, with North Island. And again, it's all about just putting on top-notch tournaments, and players will know what to expect. Often you pay your entry fee and you have no idea what you're going to be walking into. Now you will know. And I think managing the players' expectations is probably the single biggest thing, because ultimately that will lead to good player experience. So I don't care how great or how bad you play at any of these tournaments. Ultimately, what I am interested in is that you have the best player experience possible.
100%. That's number one, really, at the end of the day, is player experience. Absolutely. By far, it's number one. So having all the extra things for people to do while they're at these events is, that's imperative. You have to be offering multiple side events and just games and things for people to do to fill in time, especially in places where there's not a lot to do. So, and actually not just in places where there's not a lot to do. Like if you go to Christchurch, you want to go to the event and then enjoy the time around other people and not just go back to your house that's out in the suburbs and then come back the next day, or at least have the option to go and hang out with everyone rather than just go and kick back and stay at your accommodation for 12 hours and come back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's interesting because Waitapu is the first event on the series. When are the next ones following that?
I think we're going to announce that shortly, because obviously as few tournament directors were hesitant as they didn't know what the standard would be. Those that were interested didn't know if they could meet that standard. So we are negotiating with that. One of the biggest things people, especially tour directors, need to understand, those who haven't spoken to yet, is that you are not kicking back any fees to the Elite Series board. So it's not like a portion of the entry fee has to come to us. This is something that we are doing absolutely free. We just believe that based on what's available at the moment in New Zealand, we can offer a better player experience. We just want to go out there and do it and give it. Our focus is player-based, so we're doing it instead of waiting for every planet to arrive before it actually arrives. So we're just doing it. And right now it's 100% volunteer. And I'll give you an idea. We had our first meeting 2 days ago, Morgan?
I'll take it.
Morton?
Yeah.
My good man. Yes, we had it two days ago.
Our first official meeting. You got to put it that way, because we've been in very deep chats for a long time. Even while we're away, very deep chats, but having our first sit-down video chat to really lock in and finalize a few things. So, yeah.
Right. And everything that was supposed to be actioned at that meeting that was agreed upon, each member had something to go and do and get finalized and get done. Yep. Within 24 hours, everybody had done what was necessary. So I'm not a week later waiting for an answer. In fact, that night even, later on, Bray came back to me with, you wanted this? Well, here it is.
Yeah, so I ended up having another video chat with Bray later in the evening, going through all of that background stuff and just finalising that. And then he would have come to you and just be like, done.
It's a dedicated group of guys, man, and I think that's the whole thing. Just because it's a volunteer thing doesn't mean we're not going to do it, or we make time. And
the word volunteer is an interesting one too, and because we are all tournament directors, the best part of us are all. The most part of us are all tournament directors, and we're doing this to benefit our events. So the work that we're putting into this directly affects how our events are going to run and the future of what we're doing. So it's not just volunteering our time, it's going in to grow ourselves and our businesses, our events and clubs at the same time. So it's fully worth our time to go and put as much into this as we can.
Yep.
And the first event you said is Wahitapu. Now that's on the 24th to the 26th of November.
Yep.
Let me just.
If you've ever been to a Wahitapu, you know how, excuse my language, bloody good it is. This is going to blow the last 4 years out the water. So
let's just have a look. I've got it up on screen now. Sorry, Leon, I don't have you on screen. I'll bring you back in a minute.
That's okay.
But yeah, so we've got there's still places available.
Plenty of places.
There's a whole host of divisions that I'm sure that people can find a suitable spot in. 70 but you've still got a few spaces left, so if you want to get involved in that, then get involved in Wahitapu.
Yeah.
It's going to be
just touching on Wahitapu, one thing that as of today I can announce, because the funding has arrived in my bank account finally, is we're going to be doing a skins match. And shout out to Jay Pookie from Bros for Change for putting that idea in my head and doing what he's done in previous years with his event, Bros for Chains, doing a skins match. We're going to be doing one of those, probably like a 6-hole style skins match with, probably like $100 on the line for every hole, and then maybe a bit of bonus cash, and it'll be not just your standard skins match. There'll be some interesting things thrown in there to really throw the player off. But stay tuned for details of how to get into that. Adam and I are working on that right now. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's not just going to be for like MPO. This is going to be across the board. Everyone will have a chance to get into this.
Fantastic.
Raz Skins, Big Daddy Shade. My God, that's a throwback to Roxborough. Or a Raz round.
So what else? Have you got anything else that you want to update us on in terms of the Elite Series?
Just see it for what it is. There's like I said, we just want to put on a great event for players. And as Morgan said, yes, it's going to help. It's going to help our future events and the likes. But even if I cut it down to raw bones, it's just we've got something to offer. We want to put it out there. And we want to be proud of our golf in New Zealand. When our visitors come over from the States, from Europe, which is happening in the new year, we want to be proud of what they come to. I was when Avery Jenkins left here after the GCO, I was very proud of what Christchurch had put on, and he was blown away. And he went back, and they are still talking about their experience 6 or 7 months later. That's what we want. We want to be proud of our golf.
Yeah. And not just for the international player as well, for everyone in New Zealand that's playing. Like you guys here are our 100% main focus. Those guys are just a bonus. So this is for you guys.
Got a question in the chat from Brett again. This all sounds awesome. Do you envisage TDs battling to get on the tour each year, or are you looking to give the first year TDs a few years to get the product up to spec?
No. So as far as that's concerned, for this year, we know the TDs. We are not looking at a massive tour of 20 tournaments. Like I said, 5 in the south, 5 in the north. It's we're looking at quality over quantity, and yes, I absolutely believe that in the next 2 years we will have TDs lining up wanting to get on to simply because of the support that they get, and in the near future, if I'm hoping to get this sorted out, it'll include financial support. So yes, as for this year, we know the TDs. We've gone to those like that we know personally. Because they share that vision of us. And so that's what we're going to stick with for now. But don't let that deter you as a TD. I mean, stick your hand up, get hold of Morgan, and have a chat, because we still do need tournaments for the North Island next year. And so, yes, please come and get hold of us. And obviously we are here to help, and again, no TD will walk alone. We will definitely be there for them.
Yeah. Please, guys, come talk to me. If you guys have run events in the past, like ideally we do want people that have had experience running events. But if you think you can bring to the table everything that we're after, and we will have this written down as a list of, things that you need to check off, like a checklist to say you can do really what we're asking.
I think
it will. And that's really in the process of being done up as well at the moment. That's kind of not at the forefront because, as Leon said, we have the events and the TDs now that we want for this season. Not saying that, in the next couple of months we could add another one or two, but we're not looking to go and just go, as you said, 15, 20 events. We're not trying to do that at all. We want to almost keep it more at a minimum amount of events and not oversaturate our tour.
Sure. The criteria have been set already, Matt, for what is expected of the tournaments, and the secretary now, Ray, is basically putting it into a professional format. We're not just giving you a piece of paper with some scribbles on it. We have a way of doing things, so that's happening.
Okay. Well, There we are. Maybe it's time for the Sweet Chain Open to be born and to come into.
Oh, let's go, Matt! Hell yeah!
You never know. Anyway,
I know someone you can talk to about that.
Well, I may well be in touch. It's something I've always wanted to do, but always, for one reason or another, there's been reasons why it hasn't quite got off the ground.
You just got to pull the trigger, man.
Yeah,
just
maybe.
Got to pull the trigger, do it, rip that Band-Aid.
maybe. Okay, look, Leon, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. That's a good update on the Elite Series for now. We're going to hear from you again, I'm sure, when especially as we get closer to the first event, and you can kind of better explain what people are going to be can look forward to. What I would say is that you better get in quick because Waitapu is going to sell out soon, and we're going to be missing out quite a bit if we don't. You don't want to be one of those. You don't want to have FOMO come November.
Yeah,
most people do if they don't make it.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much, Leon. Look, if anyone's got any questions for Leon, then you can reach out to him on Facebook, or someone will have his number. We can put you in touch.
On the Elite Series Facebook page.
There's going to be launching one.
No, there is one.
Oh, okay.
There is one.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent. So we'll pop a link to that in the comments.
Cheers, mate.
Yep. And obviously, I'm always available, and I can put you in touch with anybody. Everyone knows where to find me for some reason, so come see me.
Excellent. Look, Leon, thank you so much for talking to us this evening. Have a good evening, and we'll speak to you again.
Thanks for having me.
Shot, Leon.
Cheers, Morgs.
See you, bro.
Ciao.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm just going to pop in. This is a link to the Facebook group, which is the New Zealand Elite Series. So make sure you go ahead and like and follow that page. It will.
Nice one. Thanks for that, Matt.
So that you're staying up to date with everything. Right. Now we've got some events that we need to break down and have a look at from the weekend that's just gone. The first one, Morgan, should we start up north or down south? Where do you want to go first?
Let's go down to Nottingley.
So, kicking us off at Nottingley, a bit of a surprise here. I think, in all seriousness, I don't think anybody really saw the winner here. Which is Quinn Latter comes in to take the victory over a relatively small field, but there's some strong players in there.
Yeah, Quinn's a super solid player. He's 935 rated, and he gets about and he plays a lot of disc golf. He's I see him all over the place, but it just takes that one time to get you across the line. And I mean, shooting neg 13 to take out the whole event. I'm just trying to bring up his. It's not going to work. I was trying to bring up his rating.
Yeah, so the last round was 965.
965. Oh, there it is. There. Sorry, 965. Yeah, 965, 963, and 929 to kick the tournament off. Yeah, I mean it's solid golf, especially those last couple of rounds there. I mean, I'm not sure what the conditions were like, but just looking through a few of those ratings there, they're not super high, and I mean there's some really good players there. So
yeah,
tough.
He took out MPO, but he didn't finish top overall.
Oh, let me scroll down.
So our top finisher overall is Duane Fisher, who finishes 15 under par compared to Quinn's 13, and wins MA1 by 13 shots. We spoke. I mean, I kind of half called this out at I think it was Garden City, where Duane finished several, along with another competitor, dozens of strokes ahead of the rest of the field. But I'm calling it out now. Time to step up to MPO.
It's been called out by Matt Drake from Sweet Chain. Let it be known.
Look, if you win an event by such a big margin, then it's time to step up.
Yeah, sure.
The events which the events which are coming up in New Zealand, they're not events which you have to play, you know, where you're kind of restricted to taking cash. If that was your thing and you want to maintain your amateur status, and so you go, okay, well, I'm going to play an MA1, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to play MPO, and to decline the cash when it comes to cash.
But here's the thing, Matt. He's only 905 rated. He's playing some good golf, but it's obvious. Without looking back through his standings, I mean, he's clearly must be going up and down to be just retaining a 905 rating.
Right. And I'd say that was fine, except he finished second in MA2, and if you look at how he finished in MA2, he finished strokes ahead of a lot of other people. Finishing fourth in Heislander in MA1, I think it's time. And we know that ratings take time to update, right? Because it's hanging on to ratings that are from a year ago, right? But if you're coming into an event, and in this event, I've not done the maths, but he's shooting about 960, 970 golf. In New Zealand, in my view, that's MPO.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a funny one though. I mean, because it can be again same as Quinn, just come into an event, the course might just play to his style, and he's doing the damn thing. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm in two minds about someone at that rating actually stepping up to MPO. I mean, the word sandbagging gets thrown around, and I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not pointing that at Duane. Yeah, I said it, but I'm not pointing it. The word gets thrown around a lot with a lot of people, and I don't know if this is the case though. You know, when you're looking at someone who's maybe 950, 960 rated, still playing MA1, that's sandbag city. Mm-hmm. This is a 905 rated player.
Okay, all right. Well, as sure as the sun's going to come up tomorrow, his rating's going to go up at the next update. Which, if anybody's interested on when the next update is, it's going to be this coming Tuesday. So this next Tuesday will be when everybody's ratings will be updated, including taking into account the results from this last weekend. So look out if you've played any golf recently for an increase, hopefully in your rating. But
while we're looking at Nottingley, I just wanted to shout out the other winners there. We've got Hales still doing the thing, FPO champion there with a +6. MP40 Tom McKay smashing it as always. That guy's unreal. He just doesn't seem to waver at all throughout the years. He's an incredible player.
Yeah.
And then, down to FA1, Jessica Guy, MA40, Errol Nye, FA40, Kath Headley, taking it down with a +9.
Pull something out on Kath Headley is that
she's sandbagging?
She's not sandbagging. She's playing in the highest division for her age bracket. So, but what I would say is that she's finished just 3 shots off Hayley Flintoff.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm finished second overall out of all the ladies. So yeah, tip of the cap to
Yeah,
Catherine.
well
Played
done,
very
Kath.
well. Played very well. She's got a mean forehand. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's I wish
haven't had the privilege.
I wish my forehand was as strong as hers. It's incredible.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, taking that down by a lot of stroke there.
Ed Waddington taking out MA50 by with some ease.
Well shot.
And Jennifer Joint in FA50 and Neko Prentice. Good battle in MA2 by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, that's a really good battle right there between the top three, especially, and then just a couple behind in fourth and fifth. That's a deep division in MA2. So I just want to scroll back up to MA1. Oh, they had a lot of players, 19 in MA1 and then 25 in MA2.
Yeah. That's what we're seeing. It's what we're seeing, and we've spoken about it before. We're soon the data analytics team is soon going to be able to give us some kind of pictorial evidence of how the play in New Zealand is progressing from big MA3, MA2 divisions to getting larger MA1 divisions. As we see the kind of bulge of players move. The quality of their golf gets higher and higher, and their confidence gets more to play in the higher divisions. Some people making the step up to MPO.
Yeah, for sure. Just then you scroll up to MPO, and there's only 6 players. I mean, there's definitely a number of people on the precipice there in MA1 that could 100% be jumping up. There's a couple in there that have gone back down that I see. So come up. Let's go MPO. Someone else help me battle out for them back to the middle of the field.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to go up north now to the Waitawa Coastal Cup. And this one is perhaps a bit of a surprise as well. Only a bit of a surprise in that Joe Berry, who's only recently moved to Auckland, wins the division by 2 strokes over Jackson Sullivan, who was perhaps the favourite going in. Conor McKinstry 4 strokes back of them. Henry Pearson.
Yeah, well, that's. I would almost call that Jacko's backyard at Waitawa. So he's definitely the favourite going into that event every year. But Joe's been smashing it for well over 12 months now, 12, 18 months, just really putting it together and going up there and jumping into some of these bigger courses that the North Island has on offer and getting to play, on the weekly with people like Jacko and a few of the other guys up there is really going to just push him to new heights. So keep going, bro. You're doing an awesome job.
Yep. And the hot round for the weekend, 1005 in
round one
as well. Looking to MP40, the Silent Assassin Blair Joins takes out the division against again. If it's Jacko's backyard, it's Mike Foley's.
Front yard.
I don't know. Let's call it that. So in what looked to be a very tight battle. Look at that. The top 4 all shooting the same score in the second round. Wow. Don't see that.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't spot that. Holy. Couldn't separate them.
Exactly. And what a change in some of the results. Joe Seabeck.
Yeah, for sure.
14 shots better in the second round. MA1, Johnny Wake takes out the MA1 division. Strong player from Palmerston North. Has been playing very well recently. Been smashing it when he comes down to Berrimpore every now and again. Ahead of Luke Hempel and Luke Humphreys, the New Zealand Luke Humphreys. So looking further, again, big MA1 division. Big MA1.
Another big MA1 division, yeah, for sure.
FA1, Edwina Mandisodza takes out the FA1 division by 6 shots over Amy Whitmore. And in MA40, Owen Mandisodza. Now, my apologies, I don't know the relationship between the two.
I was about to say, is this the other half or a family relation, but you don't know? Interesting.
Surely they, with the same surname of Mandisodza, they've got to be related in some way.
No relation.
I was going to say outrageous.
Relation.
So double whammy for the Mandisodza family. So very well done.
Well, I'm just looking at that. That's a total of 199 for the top 3 players, assuming there was a playoff.
Yeah. Wow. I'm assuming there would be a playoff.
Yeah, so they've got Owen in first. They would have just played off for first, and then they've split the prizes for second and third, and given both James and Bryce second place by the looks of it.
Wow. Drama at White Tower. Chris Kingsnorth, again in a playoff with Andy Brewster, takes out MA50.
And then another one.
Kyle Crittenden this time getting the spoils over Callum O'Donnell.
Well, guys, that's tight battles at the top of every division, or almost every division. That's awesome to see. I mean, that's going to be super exciting coming down the stretch at the end there.
Yeah, especially in a division like MA2 as well. I mean, this MA2 is a really, really competitive division, I think. Over in MA3, Jacob Smith takes it out relatively comfortably by 7 shots over Levi Gojak, and Hannah Edmonds wins with ease in FA3.
26 shots to take that out. Nice one.
So let's have a look at the power rankings now, because there have been some changes. As you might expect, there has been some movement across the board. So let's have a look. First up, upcoming events. So we've got the inaugural Ashburton Disc Golf Open, which I've heard which is sold out. So
sold out.
So fantastic work. That's coming up in just about 10 days' time. So not this weekend after. Sub-Zero, Kapiti Icebreaker, New Zealand National Under 15 Juniors, and Tucker Beach Rush take you up to a bit of a gap, bit of a break before Todong Extreme, Christchurch Fling, and then the first of the majors of the year, which is Moonbase 9 South Island Champs, Wahitapu end of November, the inaugural event of the Elite Series, and then Egg Monster and Nationals at the beginning of 2024.
And then right squeezed in between Egg Monster and the New Zealand Nationals is Roxburgh Open, which has been pushed from a 1-day event out to a 2-day event now. B-tier.
Fantastic. So we'll get that added in. Is that on the Elite Series or a standalone
event? It is on the Elite Series, correct. Yes, we're really looking to step that one up. That course is phenomenal. I mean, if you like golf course style disc golf, all golf course style disc golf, this is the one, man.
Yeah.
Length, elevation, technical holes. It's more than probably 2 or 3 signature holes if I'm fair. What an incredible place. Actually, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say what I was going to say about the weather. If you know, you know. I don't want to touch wood.
We're hoping that it's going to be nice for you. And coming over to the rankings, the big movers in FPO are Edwina Mandisozo, who moves up 7 places to 9th, and Kath Headley, who moves up 9 places to 12th. So congratulations to both of them. Over on the MPO side, Joe Berry moves up 3 places to overtake Levi Stout into 3rd place. Maxime, who will probably be coming off of the rankings, given that he's playing most of his golf in Belgium now, drops 1 at their expense. Ryan Cambridge and Connor McKinstry move up 1 space as well. Henry Pearson moves up to 17th. 3 places. The biggest mover of the week this week. Morgan, any ideas who jumped the highest number of positions in the MPO rankings?
Juan Fisher.
Absolutely. Do you want to know how many spaces he moved up?
No, I'll just tell you, it'll be 62 spaces.
62 spaces? That's genuinely your guess?
Oh, I have no idea. Is it 61?
It's 68.
Woo!
It's 68.
Close, man.
And Duan is now ranked 28th in the country. And so, even more reason.
So, MPO?
Even more reason to see him on the MPO ledger at his next tournament. So there we go. We'll update all the power rankings on the Sweet Chain Music website tomorrow so that you'll be able to see where you stand, wherever you stand. And we've got our rankings, for anybody who wants to know, goes all the way down to 258th. So if you want to see whether you are in the top 258 players in the country, then you can do. Morgan, do you know where you are?
Oh God, I hope I'm under 100.
You were down one space this week to 70th. So congratulations.
Mint. That's awesome.
Don't worry.
I really have to do that whole. I really have to start doing that thing again that I used to do. I think it's called practice.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I think so, or just even playing. I spend so much time. If I'm not at work, I'm doing disc golf work. If I'm honest, so
or just play the Queenstown Classic week after week after week after week. I think is
Queenstown Club. I'm going to need you to put that on for 52 straight weeks of the year, and I will be mint.
Excellent. Look, how have you enjoyed your first week as co-host?
Yeah, really good, man. Obviously, we had a pretty big, Elite Series. A pretty big story about the Elite Series come out. So, I'm heavily involved in that. Very, very heavily involved in that as your new tour director for the series. So, I'm really stoked to get that information out there with Leon. It's out there in the people's hands now, and they can take with it what they want. And if they have any questions, to come and speak to us. More than happy to answer any and every question that you have. But yeah, Matt, I'm really excited to be here for the next few weeks. Looking forward to seeing who we can get on as guests for the next few weeks and have some more chat, bit of banter, and have a bit of fun.
Excellent. Well, look, if you're watching at home, we've got a giveaway coming up. But it depends on you, because we are at 187 YouTube subs. When we get to 200, that's at the point at which we'll be doing a draw, doing a giveaway, and you'll need to be one of those 200 people if you want to be involved in that. So make sure that you hit the subscription button, hit the bell so you get the notifications, and if you've liked what you've heard tonight, then please consider giving the video a like.
Yep. Like, follow, subscribe, as the TikTok people say.
That's the one. Anyway, there's been some great disc golf being played last week, with some surprising results coming through, and some absolutely fantastic disc golf to look forward to at the Elite Series. Until then, wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.